Structure of the Indian economy. Indian economy has experienced a number of structural changes since independence during the period 1950 to 51 to 1996 to 97. A major thrust of the economy has been towards modernization, respectable standard of living, and renewed emphasis on market orientation. A good deal of policy formulation has been devoted to increase the role of secondary and tertiary sectors in the economy. Nevertheless, the role of the primary sector and an organized sector is still dominant in Indian economy even now. Occupational structure. People earn their incomes by doing different kinds of jobs, which becomes the means of livelihood. In other words, the working population derive their incomes by joining various occupations. The distribution of working population among different occupations or productive activities is known as occupational structure. There are three types of occupation in an economy: A. Primary, B. Secondary, and C. Tertiary. Primary. Occupation includes agriculture, fishing, plantations, mining, and allied activities. Food grains and raw materials are produced in the primary sector. Secondary occupations comprise manufacturing operations in industries, both large and small, and also included in construction activity. Capital goods, consumption goods, and building activity arises out of the secondary sector. Tertiary sector generates occupations in such services like in banking, commerce, communications, computers, and other professional inside as well as outside the government. The occupational structure of India from 1901 to 1996 shows the backwardness of the Indian economy. Over the last 8 decades or so, the proportion of the working population engaged in agriculture and allied activities had not fallen below 63%. Agriculture. The above trends, if they indicate any movement in the direction of modernization, a lot more still is desirable. In fact, the contribution of agriculture to national income in advanced countries is very meager. Land structure and relations. Land structure and ownership pattern are crucial in determining the rate of agricultural growth. Land relations and institutional factors have also a crucial role to play, as we have noted earlier. The abolition of Jamindari, Mahalwari, and Raitwari systems of land tenure had accorded right of ownership to the tenants. Agricultural production and productivity. As we have noted earlier, agricultural production in India is influenced by monsoon rainfall and weather conditions. Therefore, when we study agricultural productivity and change in technological inputs in improving total output, the weather conditions should also be kept in mind. The agricultural produce can be divided into two broad groups: the food grains and the non-food grains. The food grains include, for example, rice, wheat, cereals, and pulses, while the non-food grains include oilseeds, sugarcane, cotton, soya bean, potatoes, and the like. Green Revolution. In the mid-1960s, new technology and better water management techniques were introduced to improve the productivity in agriculture. This period was known as Green Revolution. It consisted of the following package: A. Use of high-yielding varieties of seeds in the production of wheat, utilization of fertilizers, pesticides in the crop protection, better water management for optimum use. Though Green Revolution contributed to higher growth rates in agriculture, it is also pointed out that output rises were concentrated in certain regions only, giving rise to acute regional inequalities. Industry. Industrialization and economic development are inseparable in the context of most of capital resources, and particularly the rate of capital formation, which are not inadequate in the less developed economies. They resort to important of the same. Structure of industry. The industrial structure can be classified on the basis of A. Type of ownership, B. Size of investment, and C. Type of output. Structure of industry by type of ownership. When classified according to ownership, Indian industry can be divided into three sectors, namely the public sector, the private sector, and the foreign sector. Structure of industry by size of investment. On the basis of the size of investment, the industry is classified into three types: the large-scale sector, the small-scale sector, and the tiny-scale sector. The large-scale industries are those whose capital investment is much above the ceiling set for the small scale. Structure of industry by type of output. In India, four broad categories emerge when classified by type of output: basic industries, capital good industries, intermediate goods industries, and consumer goods industries. The basic industries are those which provide essential inputs to all industries and agriculture. They are iron and steel, coal, chemicals, cement, aluminium, fertilizers, and electric power. The capital goods industries produce the machinery and equipment required for all industries and agriculture. Machine tools, engineering goods, electrical equipment, and automobiles are the examples. The intermediate goods industries consist of those that produce goods which are used in the production process of the other goods, rather than for final consumption. Petroleum products, type industries, plastic and plastic-based products form part of intermediate good industries. The consumer good industries produce goods for final consumption such as power products, cosmetics, bicycles, electronic goods like TV, tape recorders, textiles, watches, and so on. Some basic goods are also treated as intermediate goods. Intermediate goods at times are also final consumption goods, and the reverse may be equally true. Services. Services sector is one of the crucial sectors along with agriculture and industry. If agriculture and industry build the strength of the economy, the services sector also indicates the direction of modernization. Transport and communications, financial institutions, banking and insurance, and public administration are included in this sector. Communications. Post and telegraphs, telecommunications, radio broadcasting, television, and other information systems are included in communication services. Communication system provides information on new products, new markets, and helps to bring together buyers and sellers for effective interaction. In modern times, world markets are brought together, cutting across geographical boundaries, and international exchange of goods or services is made easier with the help of communication sector. Financial and banking institutions. The financial system of India refers to the system of borrowing and lending of funds by individuals, firms, institutions, and the government. Generally, three types of finance are distinguished in the financial system: industrial finance, funds needed in industry and trade; agricultural finance, finance required in agriculture and allied activities; government finance, funds required to support government expenditure. The main objective of financial, insurance, banking, and other institutions is to mobilize savings from the public and transfer them to needy organizations or individuals for productive purposes which can contribute to the growth of national income. The Reserve Bank of India is the central bank and monetary authority in the country. It controls and regulates the flow of money and credit in the country.